there was a time in my life where I would go to a lot of one-on-one therapy sessions and group sessions. And I remember vividly how when I would go to my one-on-one sessions with the therapist, it was very like going over, my childhood traumas and things like that. And every time it was something different, we touched up on something, a specific area or a specific moment in my life that caused me trauma. And it helped a lot. I mean, it was very helpful in the beginning because I started understanding just why I was reacting a certain ways in the present, why I was so triggered by certain things. I was able to put a name to my emotions, to my reactions, and to the things that I was experiencing in the present that stemmed from my past. So it helped me identify a lot of different things within me, and I'm grateful for that. But I started to notice that the more I went to these sessions, it was all about me and what I felt and how anxious I was and it was just over and over again. And although I was getting better because I was understanding my inner workings, it was as though I was going through a cycle that was never ending. I would go to the group sessions, and it actually, looking back in hindsight, I now see that I was going around in circles in this state of victimization where I am the victim. I was hurt. It was like I was a victim, there's a perpetrator. And although that was true, I was so stuck in victim mode that I never actually saw myself as, okay, like I'm not a victim anymore. I am moving on from that. And it was not like that. Being in the group setting and all of us sharing what we have gone through, although in the beginning it was great, it was wonderful, because me being at the time, I was about 15 years old, and I did this from I think sophomore year all the way to senior year. Being in a group session really helped me feel like I was not alone, like there were people out there, my peers who had gone through similar things that I had gone through in my childhood, the different similar stories, similar events, trauma. So I felt like, okay, great, I'm not alone. But at the same time, going week after week, month after month for 3 years, it just continued to magnify this sense of I am a victim, instead of positioning me in a place where I'm like, okay, I'm not a victim anymore. I was a victim once, but that is not who I am right now. Let's press forward. Let's push forward. Let's get out of this. So I feel like it did a lot of harm. And it was harm that I did not see until years and years later, when I started doing one-on-one therapy sessions as a wife, in me being married. And it led me to ruminate. And what ruminating is that you're constantly talking about your problem. And it's that constantly like talking about your problem that doesn't allow you to be like, okay, that's it. I don't want to talk about me anymore. Let me get out of myself and let me just do something else. Let me occupy myself, not to get myself busy so that I don't think, but just to process my feelings in a different way, whether it's through exercise, through being productive at home, organizing, my closet, or whatever the case may be, going outside and going, I don't know, bike riding with my kid at the time. So I feel like therapy is a good thing. It helps you identify many, many problems that you may have. It helps you name the things that you're going through, the triggers, the emotions that you're going through. Because sometimes we're like, okay, I just fear this, I fear that, and sometimes it's not fear, it's just anxiety. You're just anxious about certain things. And it helps you get to the root of your problems. But once you know what the problem is, you know what to name it, now it's time to like get out of yourself and say, you know what? Okay, I'm not going to ruminate. I'm not going to continuously obsess about my problem and continue to talk to this person about the same situation, because then all you're doing is you're spiraling into rumination. Are you getting out of that rut? No. If you continue to talk about your problem, just because you talk about it doesn't mean that you are going to change your problem. No, you need to, if your problem is not changing, whether it's in your marriage, whether it's with your kids, and nothing is happening, girlfriend, you need to get on your knees. You need to start praying and accompany your prayer life with action. What are you going to do? Are you going to look for a new job? Are you going to start your YouTube channel? Are you going to start a business? Are you going to go for a run, go for a walk, read a good book, watch a good comedy show? You need to get out of yourself. Who are you going to serve? What are you going to do at church? What ministry are you going to get involved in? You need to get out of yourself. Stop focusing on the problem. Stop focusing on the things that you lack and start focusing on the things that you do have, the things that you can control. It's extremely different. So I don't want to discourage you to not talk to a therapist, but it can harm you long term, especially for me dealing with a husband who has narcissistic traits, like personality traits, and it's just like behaviors, like these patterns, and talking to a therapist about it helped me tremendously because she helped me describe and I put a label to the behaviors that were happening. She helped me understand what was going on. She helped me identify behavioral patterns in my husband and to try to identify them in other people who are around me, friends, family members, you name it. So that way, once I know what is going on, what's happening, before me, now I know my plan of, my strategy. How am I going to respond to these things? Not react. How am I going to respond to these things when they happen, when they appear? How am I going to respond to these behaviors, to these, instead of being triggered, knowing, okay, I know why this triggers me. I know what to do now. It's kind of like a therapist will provide you with the right tools to help you learn how to cope with different emotions, with different people, personalities. And I think it's amazing. But no, identify like that big red flag when you just catch yourself and you're just going in there and you're just talking about the same problems over and over again. And it just spins out of control where you're so consumed by whatever it is that you're feeling. And if it happens to be negative, that's the worst place to find yourself. To be ruminating and just thinking and focused on that bad thing that's going on in your life. Do yourself a favor. If that is you and you're going to therapy, but you see yourself going on this it's like a cycle where you're just talking about yourself. This is bad. This is horrible. And things are not changing. What's going on? I don't know what to do. I feel so anxious. And it just continues to spiral. And you're just in this, this bubble. And it just, you want to burst that bubble. Get out of yourself. Get into a church. Start helping out. We're on the holidays. A lot of different organizations are hosting different events, different opportunities for us to serve the community with toy drives. I mean, I've seen food drives. There are so many things that we can do to give back, or I don't like the term give back, but just to serve other people, and just give of yourself and meet other people. Sometimes we are so consumed with our own problems that we don't realize that other people have it so bad. And not to compare yourself, but it helps you realize, okay, there are things to be grateful for. There are things, I do have blessings in my life. We all have blessings in our lives. And we all lack something or certain things in our life. And it's time to shift our focus and stop being consumed with yourself. And that's what I have had to tell myself in many different times of my life where I'm not completely 100% happy or fulfilled. You know what? Get out of yourself. And if this is for you, I want to encourage you, get out of yourself. Start doing something with your body. Go run. Get your heartbeat racing. Go and play tennis. Pick up a new hobby. Go paint. Sign yourself up for a painting class, a watercolor class, a ceramics class. There are so many things that we can do. Go for a walk. Get out, breathe in fresh air. It's so refreshing. Sometimes running errands is going to be so therapeutic. Know that therapy is a good thing, but there is a space in which when you find yourself in that head space of continuous rumination, it's like that book that I found. It's called Bad Therapy. Therapy is not serving you. It's actually hindering you. So that's when you need to get out of yourself. Stop talking about your problem. You talking about your problem is not going to make it change. The only thing that's going to help you change your situation is focusing on the things that you can control, and leave all those things that are out of your control, leave them to God. I hope this video was helpful. I'll see you on the next video. God bless.